Welcome to Tuesday, June 11th, Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I'll start with roll call on the left.
Kathy Mr.
Jared Forney.
Sean Peterson.
John Meyer.
Carly Stardens.
Raj Shivik.
Brian Gray.
Mary Ann Tenardi. Sonia Chapman.
Okay. And I will appoint Jared for Lindsay. So we have a public hearing, Z 2019-1541 of PLH LLC, requesting a map amendment from RA 60 to I1 for property located on Plainfield Pike, map 17, block 36, lot 37. Are you the applicant?
I am, Steve Royer.
Okay, so you have a presentation, you're waiting for the extension?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we can certainly table and move to the next one while that gets set up.
Yeah, that's fine if you want to do so.
Okay? So, did I just have a motion to table this? Motion by Roz, second by John. So we'll just table that. Moving on to item B, Z 2019-1543 of Ryder Truck Rental, Inc., requesting a text amendment to section 9.34 to allow fleet and industrial repair work in an I-1 zoning district. Do we have someone speaking for the applicant?
Yes, from here.
Yeah.
I'm Diane Whitney, speaking for the applicant Ryder Truck. And we're asking for a really small addition to your regulations to allow repair of trucks in an industrial zone. But I do have a suggestion, because I was thinking about this. I wonder if you would rather have it be repair, it now reads repair of fleet and industrial vehicles. I wonder if it makes sense to add, except for auto body repairs. And I guess I'm suggesting that for two reasons. Number one, Ryder doesn't want to do auto body repair work there. And number two, someplace that does auto body repair work, if you do that on a site, it automatically makes it subject to something called the Connecticut Transfer Act, which is an environmental nightmare.
Makes it established.
Exactly.
That sounds like a good idea.
I thought it might be. I mean, it's not.
Could you just repeat for the record your suggested language change?
Yeah, the language, as it reads right now, would be section.
No, just your change.
Because
Because you're presenting to us an additional addition.
Right.
So I wanted to hear the full text of what you're suggesting, since it's not what was originally written.
so it would read repair of fleet and industrial vehicles, excepting auto body repair work, or except for auto body repair, whichever you prefer.
I'm sorry, did you say industrial?
It now read what I originally applied for was repair of fleet and industrial vehicles,
So you want to add except auto body repair work.
or except. I'm trying to figure out what would make it clearest. Except no auto body repair work, or except for auto body repair work.
With the exception?
With the better, thank you. With the exception of auto body repair.
And this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience who has a comment or question on this application, if you could step up to the microphone, name, address, and comment or question. Okay. Were there any other comments from staff? I know Ryan had mentioned adding a word to the language as well.
Yes. So right now, repair of fleet industrial vehicles are allowed in the industrial zone when it's accessory to a truck terminal, which is what they have over there. But they cannot repair other customers' vehicles. They have to repair just the vehicles that they own. So this would allow them to do additional repairs to customers that may rent trucks from Ryder, but also have their own trucks. And if they're in the area and need some service work done, Ryder can perform that work for them. That's why they would like to do this. It's really, it really falls in line with what's already in the zone. You know, what they're already doing, so I don't have any issues with it. Just to clarify, this is a modification to section 9.34, and it's to add section 9.34.0, repair of fleet industrial vehicles. And I did have a suggestion of adding in the word commercial repair, commercial and front repair of fleet vehicles, because it's not really clear. Like I said, it's already allowed to have repair of fleet industrial vehicles as part of your own trucks. So I think it's a little more clear if we add the word commercial.
Doesn't that conflate it? Because it's an industrial zone, not a commercial zone, so adding the word commercial.
Commercial simply means that you're doing it for the general public. You're not maintaining your own vehicles, you're also allowed to repair others.
But this would not be open to everybody. This would only be open to established business relationships. So trucks that are technically related to their fleet, but not part of their fleet, if I'm
No,
understanding.
this would allow for them to repair any trucks. Right now, their intentions are just for their customers. But this would allow for all industrial vehicles in the zone, which really, that kind of repair belongs in industrial zone.
Does that mean any truck on the road, they would take in and repair? Any truck running through town?
Heavy truck, tractor trailer trucks,
Any tractor trailer truck?
and large fleet vehicles.
A size, is there a size to these?
Tractor
I
trailers.
was going to say 18-wheelers.
Ryan, we already have a few facilities like that in town, right?
We have facilities that are trucking terminals. I don't know if we have any that do commercial repair of industrial vehicles. Yes, actually, there is one, a commercial boulevard off of Route 12. CDLS, I believe it is.
So this would allow tractor trailers that are not related to riders' regular business to use them as a commercial repair area.
That is their intent, but it would be allowed in all industrial zones by anybody who applies.
Not so sure that Okay. I think the clarity is there.
Just ask.
I just remember it was public hearing, so no one can use this questions. Gotta save opinion for deliberation.
Is this, now, this you asked for because of load trucks, right? Am I understanding this right?
No,
That was an example.
Use that as an example.
Oh, as an example. Oh, okay.
Actually, I mean, what Ryder is doing now is repairing its own fleet vehicles. From time to time, an established customer, for instance, I believe Dunkin' Donuts is one of the fleet of trucks that Ryder actually owns or rents to Dunkin' Donuts. But that's a Ryder-owned truck, so they could do the repairs now. From time to time, a customer such as Dunkin' has their own vehicle, and they ask if Ryder could do repairs on it, and right now we cannot. So it's a very, very small part of Ryder's business. But
Right, but you're asking for a text change. So the
Right.
text change then broadens your intention.
Right.
So that's just what we're trying to get clarity on,
Yep.
is how broad are we making this?
Yep.
And the fact that it would be applicable by right in all industrial zones is something that we need to flesh out. So I think it's important for that clarity. Any other questions or comments from staff? Any other comments or questions from the audience?
Where's it located?
well, this would simply be an amendment to the regulations, but the Ryder facility is located at 45 Cemetery Road.
And could you state your name and address for the record?
Oh, Bonnie Bell, 159 Tar Box Road.
Thank you. Any comments or questions from board members?
Isn't this kind of along the lines of what O'Reilly Parker does in industrial, with the exception of, they're not trucks, they're tractors, they're equipment?
But they're, W.I. Clark is a commercial, and they're a repair facility.
It's an industrial park.
I believe
Yeah,
it's
but-
still industrial park.
but they're zoned for repair. Okay.
That was allowed, yes. I can't recall if we switched it to commercial or if it stayed industrial park.
So I think it's different. Any other questions, comments on this public hearing? Okay, I'll entertain a motion on the public hearing.
I make a motion to close the public hearing.
I have a motion by Roz and a second by John. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Public hearing is closed. So we're moving back to the public hearing tabled. Item A, Z 2019-1541 of PLH LLC, requesting a map amendment from RA 60 to I-1 for property located on Plainfield Pike, map 17, block 36, lot 37. And we have the applicant. Is the presentation pertinent to the application?
I mean,
Zone
somewhat.
change?
It's just, it's got site photos of the zoning map, et cetera. It is pertinent, and,
Is that the same as this one?
yeah. I mean,
Okay.
ultimately, if anything, just set the laptop here if you want.
Get it bigger.
Good evening, I'm Steve Royer, I represent Ecos Energy. We are the landholder of the parcel that's requesting the zone change. If you guys remember, I was here in December for our I-1 parcel adjacent to the east of that site. And that went through a site plan review and ultimately a special permit that was granted for a 1 megawatt solar facility adjacent to the site. We own both of those pieces of land, and I'm here to request a zone change from R13, or I'm sorry, it's
R60.
60 to I-1. The intent is we'd like to start this first phase for a zone change and ultimately move forward with the potential development of another single megawatt solar facility on the site. The parcel itself is approximately 46 acres, but of that 46 acres, a large amount of it is upland, wetland, and buffer. The site is somewhat isolated, so it's not like it's going to be a 46-acre industrial use that could be developed on that parcel, just simply from topographic and wetland constraints. The site is bounded by 395 on the west, several vacant properties around the perimeter of the site. The Lighthouse Church of God is one of the, I guess, inhabited parcels that's to the north of the parcel itself, as well as a couple other single-family residences to the north. To the south, all the parcels are vacant. Our intent was to after the potential rezone is to move forward with a site plan application for that use.
So where is the entry to the site?
So the entry to the site would still use the entry through the Leo property easement. And ultimately, we're treating it as almost as a phase 2 of the development. So currently, the project that was approved is on this parcel right here, with an access road that comes down. We have an easement between Leo Properties and ourselves, and then the next phase ultimately would be to expand that driveway and enter this southern upland area of the site. If I go back
So entries through your
through our
current site.
current site, that is correct. These green areas ultimately represent the only developable area of the site that isn't either wetland buffer or wetlands themselves. So the parcels are fairly isolated, and solar is really only one of the uses that can utilize this land.
But it is important to note that with the zone change, anything allowed in an industrial zone could be allowed on this property, and anything by special permit could be applied for. So although your intention is to apply later on for that, just to be clear, we are talking about a zone change. This is not a site plan review.
Yep.
So we have to look at the merits from the RA60 to Industrial 1.
Understood. And I think the merits of just the surrounding land and uses, there's other industrial parcels adjoining it, and just general vacant, non-usable land to the south that it's in essence landlocked from any viable access.
And as this is a public hearing, if there's anyone with a comment or question on the application, if you could step up to the microphone. Any comments or questions from staff?
No, it does abut another industrial piece of property. There's not a whole lot of usable land there, so it's at the commission's discretion if they'd like to go through it or not.
Any comments or questions from board members?
I know we said it was 46 acres. Approximately how many acres will that take up?
The solar facility itself is 1 megawatt. With the stormwater design and the perimeter fence, is approximately 5.66 acres.
Of the green areas you identified as usable property, what's
Yep.
the acreage on the usable property?
I do have that. So 46.3 is the total area. 17.8 of the site is wetlands. 16 is upland buffer, which remains 12.1. Some of those are little slivers that aren't really usable land, but of the green shading itself, that's what that acreage is.
Okay.
Difficulty is accessing those little pockets.
Sure, understood. Any other comments or questions for this applicant? Okay, I'll entertain a motion on the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close public hearing.
Do I have a second? All right, I have a motion by Sean and a second by Jared. All those in favor of closing the public hearing, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, public hearing is closed. Moving on to the regular meeting. So I'll call the regular meeting to order. And we have additions, corrections to the agenda. We have 2 items to add. Item A, Z 2019-1565 of WE 85 Newsup LLC site plan. And item B, Z 2019-1570 of John Knoll, 7 Green Street accessory apartment. Does anyone want to motion those onto the agenda under new business A and B?
So moved.
Roz, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion by Roz, second by Sean. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? So we'll add those under new business, items A and B. Moving on to unfinished old. Item A, Z 2019-1519, continuation of Norwich Road LLC requesting site plan review for a 7,225 square foot retail building with 40 parking spaces, flush concrete walkway, dumpster pad, unloading area, stormwater management system, site lighting and landscaping on property located at 5 Dow Road and 756, 764 Norwich Road, Plainfield, map 17, block 11A, lots 1, 3, and 6, C2 zoning district. Okay. All right, thank you. So I will appoint Kathy for John regarding this application.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matt Burton. I'm an engineer from DL Companies representing the applicant. I'll just quickly kind of give you a refresher on this application since we've been here once before. As your chairman said, 7,300 square foot retail building on the corner of Dow Road and Norwich Road. On this plan, Norwich Road is up and down. Dow Road goes across the top. Currently vacant land. It's in the commercial zone. We have a site plan that conforms with all zoning regulations. Since the last time we were here, we have gained approval through the New York Wetlands Commission. On the south side, the site plan here, there's a little wetland off the property. We have also addressed comments from town staff and DOT The Norwich Road is a state-controlled property, so we have an encroachment permit pending with those guys. The comments from town staff that we addressed in the latest round were screening the adjacent residential property here with fencing on two of the sides, and also revising the photometric plan to keep any light trespass over the property lines. That's the quick recap. Happy to answer any questions you guys may have.
What is the status of the 5 Dow Road property? Was that combined with the 756, 764?
So 5 Dow Road, just for everybody, is this one right there?
Yeah.
The applicant is currently in negotiations to purchase that property. As you remembered, we did get a zone change for that property a few months ago. So the intention is to combine it with the adjacent lot, and I have a plan.
So that is not part of the current site plan then?
There's nothing proposed on that lot. That house will remain as is. So we comply with setbacks that are going around that property. It's not to be touched at the moment. This is a master plan of the intention of the developer. Obviously, this is the retail building we're permitting right now with the driveway out to Dow Road. Once the sale of that closes, we would have to come back here. But just to show you what we're intending to do, it would be another building in the corner with the associated parking.
Okay, so the current application does not include 5 Dow Road, the site plan we're reviewing.
Correct.
Okay. Just to clarify, since it did say property located at 5 Dow Road, I want it to be very clear that currently it is not including that. Okay. And staff, any additional comments that were not addressed?
Just the fact that if 5 Dow Road is not purchased, then it will be screened, and 11 Dow Road is not adequately screened. They need to extend the fence line approximately 40 feet to the north in order to screen that property, so that can get additional approval. Also, DOT permit in place prior to the zoning permit being issued.
So we're looking at a condition of additional screening and DOT approval. Any comments from board members on this application? All right, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the site plan.
I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions pointed out by staff.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second by Roz. A motion by Sean, second by Roz, including the condition of the additional screening and pending DOT approval. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, application is approved with conditions.
Thank you, Marie.
Thank you. All right, moving on to item B. Z 2019-1541 of PLH LLC requesting a map amendment from RA 60 to I1 for property located on Plainfield Pike, map 17, block 36, lot 37. And I'll just state for the record that John Meyer will be reseated and Kathy will return to her alternate seat. All right, items for discussion from the board regarding the map amendment from RA 60 to I1.
Not comfortable, I still don't understand what this, if they're gonna be able to repair any commercial vehicle right here.
Nope, that's the other one. We're on the
I'm
map
sorry.
change.
Yeah,
That's
sorry,
okay.
I have the wrong one up.
That's okay. So this is the map amendment from RA 60 to I1 for the property on Plainfield Pike. This is the one that shares the easement with the current solar project. So it's the 46 acres, of which 12 are usable acres, but they're targeting 5. But it would be rezoning the whole property.
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, and we need an effective date for that as well, am I correct? So since it's a map amendment, if you can just add an effective date to your motion.
Effective date July 1st.
Okay, so I have a motion from Roz to approve with an effective date of July 1st. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Sean seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Oh, okay, so we have one abstention on that. So motion passes with an effective date of July 1. All right, moving on to item C, Z 2019-1543 of Ryder Truck Rental, Inc., requesting a text amendment to section 9.34 to allow fleet and industrial repair work in an I-1 zoning district. Go ahead.
I'm sorry I don't want to hold up the meeting, but I'm still confused. I still don't understand if this is going to apply to all trucks that come through, get out there and be repaired. Is this going to affect any repairs, companies that we already have in town?
Well, the text amendment is allowing for commercial, industrial repair work in an I-1 zoning district. So it would apply to any similar business in an I-1 zoning district.
So any business
So
in the same district,
any truck, so Western Express, Lowe's,
they can do the
any
same thing?
related business could contact them for repair. That's my understanding of the text amendment.
Yes. If you're uncomfortable with that, you can make a modification. We
Not
can
after the public hearing starts.
Well, no, it's at your discretion, it doesn't have to be presented.
I'm questioning that.
Well, you restrict it. You restrict it to accessory use as existing terminals to repair customers' vehicles.
Which is what exists already. If it's fleet vehicles, it's related
Yes.
to their current industry. So there wouldn't be a need for a text amendment if that were the case. This is going broader than the intention of keeping related work to a related business. This would be making it broader. And I have to agree with Roslyn. I can't say I'm comfortable broadening it that deeply.
But Ryan's proposal would effectively allow it, but keep it more,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, John.
It would allow these folks to do what they want to do, but it would limit it in its scope to existing facilities, rather than, if, the way I read this, anybody could come in and create any other kind of work.
Right.
So we're allowing trucking terminals to broaden their, existing trucking terminals to broaden their repair scope to other customers.
Exactly.
How do we work?
Right, but what I'm saying is I don't think you can propose additional language because the public hearing is closed.
You
So
can, as long as you do not broaden it. You do not broaden the scope. We are narrowing the scope.
You can narrow it, but not broaden it.
But it doesn't allow for public comment on the new language.
What if we table it? You can't do that.
Can't do it, we already closed them. I don't believe there's a provision we can reopen the public hearing.
As these are your regulations, you can do what you want. So that's the way it works with regulations. You are simply narrowing the scope. Public comment has already passed. You're making it more narrow. If you were to broaden it, yes, then there's a legal issue. But to restrict it, it's not.
What is your proposal, John?
That be allowed as an accessory to the existing truck.
Accessory what?
Accessory
You.
yeah, to existing trucks. In our
But then it's also by right.
Yeah.
Am I correct? It would be by right.
Yes.
So regardless of location of the I-1 zone, regardless of any traffic impact with increased,
But
it would be by right.
It would have to be at an existing.
Correct. Are there any other points of discussion on this one?
So if a new company opened up, they'd have to apply for that? If they wanted to do it, they'd have to apply for the same thing to be able to repair? Is that what you're saying, John?
If
it would be allowed. If they're approved for a terminal use, then this accessory use would be allowed by right. So they would not have to additionally apply for the additional right. It would be automatic by right.
But at that point, I'm just trying to point this out.
Yeah, no, I'm with you.
If they're going to be a trucking terminal, they're probably going to be doing repairs on their own.
Which is allowed.
Right. So this would allow them to do additional repairs. They're still doing repairs, so if there's any, environmental or risk associated with repairs will be done anyway.
I guess my hesitation though is that it is increasing the number of trucks. So, because it's not just their trucks anymore, it could be any truck in the area that says, oh hey, Ryder truck, I know you have the ability to fix a vehicle. I'm in town, so can you take my vehicle too? So then essentially they become a repair shop for other fleets' vehicles,
I wonder what the current operating capacity is.
which I think is probably outside the scope of our discussion today. However, it's my hesitation, which I don't think will be resolved. So I'll entertain a motion on the application if the committee wants to take a vote on it. But my hesitation stands. I think it broadens it too much. It would allow essentially a secondary use of repair work that would be above the current businesses' trucks. So it would be allowing other businesses to bring their trucks. Now, whether that's the intention or not, I know it's like, oh, hey, if it happens, it might be a rare thing. But by putting it in by right, we allow for that additional use. So we can't control the frequency with which the business would use that availability, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, on the face of it,
Exactly.
what they want to do
Mm-hmm.
is reasonable.
Sure.
And if, will basically be a service to their customers, which helps, which helps the company, which we want to help companies in town.
Sure.
So there's got to be a way to work this out. I mean, maybe we can't do it the way things are working now, but I mean, to me, it seems like a reasonable proposal. But I do understand.
Yeah, because I mean, once we allow it, it's by right. It applies to all I-1 zoning district with similar use, which essentially gives them a secondary use.
So what if it was something that had to be?
How many current terminals do we have in town?
I don't know the answer to that.
At least two.
What if this was something that you had to get special?
But once again, that would have to be represented at a public hearing.
Just throwing it out.
Yeah.
I'm not so sure it would be because you're further narrowing the scope of the special permit.
Then my suggestion,
That would be cool.
because I'd want to read these regulations in more detail before making a determination, would be to continue this to next month. So I will entertain a motion to continue. All right, I have a motion by Roz to continue. I have a second by John. All those in favor of continuing to our next meeting? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so we will continue discussion after some review of the regs. Moving on to new business item.
Your next meeting is when?
It is July, hold on one moment. It is the second Tuesday of the month. So it is July 9th, 7 o'clock p.m., same place.
Any clarification on that?
Yes, please. All right. So new business, item A, Z 2019-1565, WE 85 Moosup LLC site plan.
Good evening, Valerie Farrow, Good Earth Advisors, representing the applicant. Also with me, John Whitenblatt, principal of LRC. thank you actually for the being placed on the agenda. I'll give you a little update of since we were last before you. I think the last appearance you actually approved Morgan truck body, manufacturing use at 85.6. And as you all know, maybe you came to the ribbon cutting, working, expanding, doing great. In fact, continue to add jobs, so it's a good thing for everyone. As you know, Staples had already been retained as a tenant, so we had Staples and we had Morgan Truck Body, and we had that middle, as we affectionately call it, you know, the middle tenant, being shown actively, actually, when we were last before you. John and I have been doing a number of site plans, and we're happy to report that within literally the last 10 days, a week, we have signed an agreement with a tenant. The only provision, of course, is they need to begin and operating by August 1st. So we met with Ryan and Marianne. They've been very accommodating and trying to figure out how to minimize any changes while accommodating the tenant. As it turns out, we really had to do some homework on the stormwater, and we had to do some pavement improvements. So we are before you tonight for those reasons. When Stanley Enterprises will be investing upwards, probably exceeding $3 million to retain that tenant, make the improvements to bring them to Plainfield. So we think it's a good fit. I think it's a good fit not only for the town but also for the facility. And what we'd like to do is we have 11 by 17s that you have before you. We also have the boards. And John's going to take you through just high level. They're not like major improvements, but it's mostly focusing on stormwater and then really improving the existing pavement. One thing we didn't run off, but we do have, and probably John should share with Marianne and Brian at some point, we do have the original site plan now from 1956.
Something like that.
Yes. And interestingly, the front of the front of the building, the pavement that's there was approved. It's still there. So we're technically improving the pavement that was approved in 1956, if that makes you feel better. So we're really just replacing that and doing some stormwater. So with that, John will take you through the stormwater improvements and then we'll entertain your questions. Thank you.
Thank you. For the record, my name is John Wackenblatt, principal of Lower Street, Cromwell, Connecticut. As Val mentioned, what we're proposing on doing is not really changing the outline of the existing parking. Actually, we're going to be reducing it. The existing parking lot will maintain the same amount of parking spaces that they are now. And we are, if you look down at the bottom, where I'm tracing out now, that's actually pavement that we're eliminating. So we're actually going to be eliminating 6,500 square feet of impervious, and then reworking this parking lot vertically to make it drain a little bit better. What happens, I don't know, have you ever been out here after a rain? There is an existing catch basin right there, and the water will be 1.5 feet deep. What has happened over time, as Val pointed out, there was that original site plan, there was a drainage ditch that ran along Wissop Pond Road and eventually worked its way down to the, I believe it's Ingles Brook, and that is no longer functioning. This catch basin goes out to basically a dry manhole, and as I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but the water table out here is extremely high, and so that's what's causing some of the flooding. So what we're proposing on doing is putting in a catch basin, creating a high point, putting another catch basin, and draining into this basin, and then going to a basin up here, and actually, shows up better on that plan. Proposed catch basin, relocated catch basin, and then what we're doing, there's a, from the when we constructed Morgan, we have a detention basin in here just for some overflow. Is to bring that over and then create a new detention basin in here that basically is going to handle everything up to a 100-year storm, actually underneath even the invert. As you know, this is a very flat site, so it was kind of challenging to get it deep enough. And based on our test pits that we've done out there, we are actually above the water, not the seasonal high, but the average groundwater. And then in the rear of the building,
So that basin doesn't have an outlet?
no, we don't have it, not yet. It's probably going to be just like an overflow. Then in the rear, there are six existing loading bays. We're going to use 5 of them. One of them is unusable after improvements from the Morgan, and we're going to add 8 more for a total of 13. The issue in the back here is the existing loading docks are 42 inches. The client, or the new tenant, excuse me, requires 48. So instead of tearing up, and again, this is fairly flat in the back, so instead of tearing up pavement all the way back here, what we're proposing and doing is just pitching back to the building, dropping it to 8 inches, putting in a trench drain, and then improving an existing catch basin, which is right about there, and running into increasing the size of it. It's an 8-inch that goes from the catch basin to to an existing manhole that catches all the drainage inside the building now and run it out to the back. The only other thing we're proposing in its requirement is just not marking 90 stalls, just putting in basically a paint line here, along here, and there, and a paint line here, and a paint line over here, so that tenant knows that that's their parking.
When you say drainage from inside the building, you mean like
Roof drains, yes. All the roof drains eventually drain from the right and from the east side and the west side, eventually run down, and there's a 40-inch drainage pipe that comes out, and there's manholes in the building that actually come out and flow down to an outlet right here, which goes into a ditch along here that eventually ties in to Anglesbrook, probably about 400 feet.
So there's no like floor drains connected?
No, it's all roof drains.
There may have been floor drains before, but when we renovated everything, I think they took care of those. It might have been, I just recall something in Oregon, but obviously those are out of there.
No, they had serious problems in Oregon. The owners spent a lot of time and money trying to trace out a lot of the floor drains and rotor-rooter them basically, but they ended up having a rotor-rooter all of the on the Morgan side, the roof leaders that eventually make their way to this pipe. So, because there was issues, as you know, last spring, what, 30 days, we had like 30 inches of rain in this part of the state. Well, we know where it all went. We were able to trace it out.
Any additional comments or questions from staff? Anything not addressed?
The only thing that was not addressed is we need to have the cover page of the Mylars have the signature line for the PZC chair.
Noted?
Yes, I didn't print it yet.
No need for the Mylars.
Ready to print.
Any additional comments or questions from board members?
Do we have any concern about the drainage, if oil leaks on the truck? Because they're talking right to the river.
But it's not repair,
Yeah, we're not prepared.
it's just loading, unloading.
Yes, correct.
And trailers that are parked are either empty or full of product, but the engines would not be parked with
Correct,
trailers.
that's a
It's
storage.
just storage for trailers, not
So it's not
tractor.
storage of trucks, it's storage
Not
of
tractor
trailers.
trailer, just trailer.
Bodies.
Okay, does that alleviate that?
But the other thing too is the loading docks can still be used, it's just by somebody who wants 42 inches. That's existing.
Correct,
Correct.
yes.
And it seems to be the trend. We're seeing that, I think early on we had a tenant we were introducing to them, and we weren't going to be able to accommodate them, but it seems like in some other projects, they seem to be wanting wider, higher, there's different, I don't know if the trucks are changing or what.
So the only thing really is you're doing in the back is you're lowering the land.
Correct.
Correct.
We're not-
Yeah.
To get the height.
Right, and we're not increasing the impervious.
Right,
We're just adjusting the existing impervious.
And in the front, besides improving the parking area, we're rerouting a sidewalk because it goes like to nowhere, I think now, we found that. And of course, we just are trying to get that water from away from the building. It's been there since ever. We know this works. This is why he had to really run the hydrology. I think longer term, we're going to be taking a look at the entire site and seeing if there's more things we can do to improve it. But for now, obviously, getting a tenant in by August 1st is great.
Is there a spill control and countermeasure plan for this site? No.
Morgan has
Yeah,
one.
Morgan has one because of their use. And, the owner, I mean, they run a very tight ship. There's someone there, they always look at the facility. And they're also very careful who they lease to. So they really are not interested in making a mess or creating issues where, they might have to do something retroactively. And of course, everything at Morgan is contained within that building. You've been through it. I was just in there the other day, I think we were the floor, to be honest with you.
Any other comments or questions on this application? Okay, I'll entertain a motion on the application.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
All right, motion by John, second by Jared. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item B, Z 2019-1570 of John Knoll, 7 Green Street, accessory apartment, and this does require a public hearing.
Make a motion to move this public hearing to July 9th.
I have a motion by Sean. Do I have a second? All right, second by John. All those in favor of scheduling public hearing for our next regular meeting, July 9th, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Any abstentions? Public hearing is scheduled for July 9th. Reviewing and acting on the minutes from the May 14th meeting. Did anyone have any changes or adjustments to those? None? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion on the minutes. Motion by Roz and a second by Sean. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Minutes are approved. Moving on to item 8, correspondence.
We have
No correspondence. All right. Moving on to report from zoning enforcement.
Okay, so back to 26 Suzie Ave, which we've done litigation and some litigation. It does look like the house is now abandoned. The bank it looks like the bank has been in there, but we're still in court over it. We had an issue down the road here on Community Ave Extension. We approved a mulch processing facility a few years back. And they've been having a mud issue, tracking mud onto the road, so I'm working with them to install anti-tracking pads. And we should have a site meeting possibly for the 25th and 26th of this month, with an expected start date to complete that work past the July 4th. Yeah, they did that project before? They did, but they've been over.
So is this just a maintenance issue with the tracking pads, or it was over capacity?
It was a maintenance issue. They had a second set of tracking pads. You have to clean them out, you have to take up the stone, wash it, and put it back down.
Gotcha. All right. Report from planning and zoning.
We got notification, unfortunately, on June 5th that our EPA grant for assessment over at the Interworld site was not approved. The Northeast region will be scheduling a debriefing for late summer, approximately 3 weeks before the next round's guidelines come out, so that we'll have fresher in our mind what we did wrong this time and how to correct it for the next time. And we will be applying again when the next round is released. Last Thursday was the presentation of the Plainfield visioning session. There were not a lot of people in attendance, but we got a lot of really good ideas. And we're hoping to do Warrigan and Central Village before the end of summer.
Excellent. And then for item 11, other, I missed citizen participation, so I am moving back to the agenda. If there is anyone in the audience who had a comment for the commission, this would be your opportunity to address the board. Okay. And given no public comments, I'll entertain the motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion by Roz, second by John. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody.